this lecture, we will review the research on male prostitutes, the gigolo, and the hustler. We will also explore the history of male sex workers in various cultures and present-day male prostitution. Some male sex workers serve a heterosexual clientele, selling their services to women. These men work in 3 settings. Some of them work for escort services and provide companionship and sexual gratification on the out-call basis. Working in such a setting is much less risky for men than for women. Some men work in massage parlors under the same conditions as female employees. These male prostitutes virtually never work on the street, in contrast to female street workers and male hustlers. This reflects gender role socialization. Female clients are unlikely to cruise the streets and pick up a prostitute because they have been taught to let the male take the initiative. The third type of the gigolo, which is in French, one who dances, is a man who provides companionship and sexual gratification on a continuing basis to a woman in exchange for money. A gigolo often, though not always, has only one client at a time. There are several different types of gigolos, including the golden boy, which is the pampered playboy kept by a very wealthy woman. And then there's the lapdog, who enters into a series of marriages of convenience. And then the toy boy, also known as the boy toy or stud, who works as a companion on a limited term basis. Now, according to Hyde and Delamater, the demand for gigolos reflect the fact that women, like men, desire sexual gratification on a continuing basis and will pay for it when circumstances require or allow them to do so. On the other hand, women, unlike men, often prefer their sexual activity to be part of an ongoing relationship that involves love. Many male sex workers sell their services primarily or exclusively to men. Some of their clients identify as gay, and others identify as heterosexual. Women who engage in sex work are acting in ways that are consistent with their feminine identity, providing emotional and sexual labor for others. Men who engage in sex work with male clients find that their masculine identity is challenged, triggering a stigma not faced by other type of sex workers. Contemporary male sex workers catering to men work in 4 settings. First, we have the outdoor sex workers, who are often young and identify as heterosexual. They typically solicit pedestrians and motorists and engage in sex in cars, homes, and other locations. Some work in the vicinity of public toilets. Advantages are minimal overhead and the ability to retain their earnings. Like women who are streetwalkers, they face the risk of assault and stigma. Male street workers are sometimes referred to as hustlers. To emphasize their masculinity, they may wear tight jeans and leather jackets. In some cities, there are specific areas known as places where hustlers operate. Gay bars are found in gay-identified spaces, in gyms, bars, clubs, and hotels. Since these are spaces where casual and same-sex activities are common, these men face less stigma than outdoor workers. These men typically work part-time. A minority of men work in brothels, providing sexual services on an in-call basis. Their working conditions and risks are similar to those experienced by women in this setting. Usually, a brothel will have only a few male employees. Prices for specific activities are typically fixed, and management retains a significant amount of the fee. The clients may be primarily women. The largest group of escorts or call boys, the male counterpart of the call girl. They often identify as gay or bisexual. They work in both in-call and out-call services, and their clientele locates them through gay media. Their clients are usually middle and upper-class men, and these workers can earn large incomes for relatively few hours of work. Another study interviewed 40 men working for a single escort agency. The escort reported that a variety of social and emotional activities were required both to provide good service to clients and to cope with their fear of being stigmatized if they disclose their sex work to persons outside the agency. Sex work in this setting is not just about sex. In one study of adolescent males in San Francisco, the main reason for engaging in sex work, stated by 87%, was money. Most often, they had left home because of conflict in the family, typically leaving when they're about 15 or 16 years old, although some had left earlier. The majority, which is about 72%, reported using drugs while engaging in acts of prostitution. The reason most often cited was the enjoyment of being high. Drugs were also used to reduce feelings of anxiety or fear stemming from the scary nature of the work. Now, I found a very interesting article on psychology.fandom.com in regards to male prostitution. And this one's entitled Male Prostitution in Other Cultures and Periods. Same-sex male prostitution has been found in all advanced cultures. The practice of sacred prostitution, which is the selling of sexual favors by men or women in sacred shrines, in the ancient world is attested even in the Old Testament. Prostitutes in ancient Greece were generally slaves or freemen. Free citizens selling their services as prostitutes could lose their civic rights. Ancient Greece and ancient Rome both saw the existence of male brothels. Work as a same-sex male prostitute in the medieval Islamic world was similarly restricted to social inferiors, such as boys or slaves. While frequenting prostitutes was considered a sin, the practice was nevertheless tolerated. Historical evidence from court records and vice investigations show male prostitution in the United States as early as the late 1600s. With the expansion of urban areas of gay communities towards the end of the 19th century, male-on-male prostitution became more apparent and included baths, brothels, and also prostitution bars in which so-called quote-unquote fairies solicited other men for sex and received a commission for selling drinks. Now, let's do a quick overview in regards to present-day male prostitution. In same-sex male prostitution, participants may engage in a variety of sexual acts based on the client's desire and sexual orientation. Although some prostitutes may restrict the clients, restrictions often fall when the price of the service increases. Commonly performed sexual acts include masturbation, single or jointly performed, oral sex on or by the client, anal intercourse performed by or on self-induced straight clients, or anal intercourse performed on or by gay or bisexual clients. Some young men come to hustling only once. Some engage briefly while others work as hustlers for an extended length of time. Financial incentives may be the primary reason that prostitutes engage in this work, but they are by no means the only reasons. Hustling may also confer on the hustler a sense of self-worth when he feels desired by other clients, for example, or of social status when treated to expensive restaurants, high-end designer clothes, or travel destinations, or in some cases erotic gratification, or of societal rebellion or mystery. Conversely, some prostitutes may also experience a sense of self-destructiveness or exploitation, or difficulty in distancing private sex from commercial sex, or suffer from the social stigma of hustling. The reasons for hustling are thus extremely personal and may involve a mixture of positive and negative justifications. Few prostitutes in the West rely exclusively on sex for their income. Some prostitutes supplement their income by work as a pornographic actor or model, nude model, massage therapist, burlesque dancer, or go-go boy, by performing in sex shows, or by running a personal website. Other prostitutes have jobs entirely unrelated to the sex industry. The same complexity of motives may underline the justifications of the prostitute's client. Although sexual gratification is often a primary motive, the client may also be moved by many emotional concerns, including issues related to sexual orientation, power and emotional attachment, their own age and attractiveness, as well as needs for special treatment such as fetishes, sadism, humiliation, and so forth. The clients in male prostitution are not exclusively older gay men. Typical clients include married men, businessmen, inexperienced gay men looking for sex, and couples, both gay and straight. Some male clients, especially men who identify as straight, may prefer escorts who are cross-dressers or preoperative transsexuals, known as trans women, or in some cases, she-males. Male prostitution with male clients is more or less tolerated in a number of Western and non-Western countries. These kind of sexual relationship may be transitory practice with financial benefits for a young man on the road to adulthood, which he very well may abandon once he is married. This is especially true in societies in which a young man's access to women is strictly prohibited before marriage. Male prostitution in urban centers is also an outlet for economically and socially disadvantaged individuals, including immigrants. In recent years, Western Europe has seen an increase in prostitution by young men from Eastern Europe, North Africa, the Balkans, and in the Middle East. In my next lecture, we will review the topic of sex tourism. What? Do you mean like vacationing? Sex tourism? Yes, you will find out all about it in my next lecture.